All right, listen up. We're on the clock. Hypoglycemia isn't just a number, it's a full-blown metabolic emergency. But here's the thing, the real mission isn't just about pushing sugar, it's about finding the source. Are we looking at an internal factory malfunction, or did a needle come from the outside? Everything, and I mean everything, comes down to one tiny molecule. If you don't master this, you're gonna crash the diagnosis. Let's move.
Okay, let's get into it. The hypoglycemia emergency. Look, we're not just reacting to a number on a glucose meter. This is a real metabolic crisis. And the biggest challenge? It's not just seeing the low sugar, it's figuring out why it's happening in the first place. Your patient is crashing and you've got to put on your detective hat fast.
And trust me, this isn't some abstract textbook case. Imagine this for a second. One of your colleagues, a nurse on the floor, is found totally confused, just out of it. You rush to get a stat blood glucose, and the monitor flashes back 38. 38. That's a code red, critically low number. It's screaming for action, yeah, but more than that, it's screaming for the right diagnosis.
So where do we even start? Our first checkpoint is always the Whipple Triad. Think of it as the classic fingerprint of true hypoglycemia. It's got 3 parts. 1, you've got to have that document of low blood sugar. 2, the patient has symptoms, the sweating, shakiness, confusion. And 3, this is the real kicker, all those symptoms just disappear the second you give them sugar. If you hit all 3, boom, you've confirmed true hypoglycemia. But that just tells you what's happening. The million-dollar question is why.
And that brings us to the core of the mission. What is the source? Is the body's own insulin factory, the pancreas, just going completely rogue and pumping out way too much? Or is someone injecting insulin from the outside? An internal problem, like a tumor, or an external one, like a needle? Answering that question, well, that's what separates the pros from the rookies.
Okay, quick pause. Before we go any further, we have to do the official bit. So, our mandatory international medical disclaimer, please remember this is all for educational purposes, specifically for medical exams. This is not medical advice. For any real-life clinical decisions, you should always be consulting official guidelines and a specialist. All right, let's get back to it. So, how in the world do we solve this needle versus tumor puzzle? Simple. We use our compass. And for this mission, our compass is a molecule called C-peptide. It's your diagnostic North Star. It points you in the right direction, and trust me, it never, ever lies. Okay, let's jump back to our nurse, the one with that glucose of 38. We get the labs back, and just as we suspected, her insulin level is through the roof. Now, this is where things get interesting. The intern on your team, super eager, immediately wants to order a CT scan of the pancreas. They're ready to go tumor hunting for an insulinoma. So what do you think? Is that the right call? Do you agree with that step? If you said no, you're absolutely right. The answer is a hard no. That intern is about to order a very expensive test way too early. Here's the golden rule. You never image the pancreas until you have the biochemical proof first. And where does that proof come from? It all starts with understanding this guy right here, proinsulin. Think of it as the parent molecule, the raw material that's made deep inside the beta cells of the pancreas. And this is how it works. It's actually pretty elegant. The body makes this big proinsulin molecule. Then an enzyme comes in and acts like a pair of molecular scissors, just snipping it into 2 pieces. And what do you get? For every single molecule of insulin your body makes, you get exactly 1 molecule of C-peptide. It's a perfect 1-to-1 ratio. It's like a mirror image. Wherever that natural, homemade insulin goes, its C-peptide shadow is right there with it. All right, you got that? The 1-to-1 ratio. Now, with that key piece of biochemistry locked in, let's see how it helps us escape one of the all-time classic traps you'll see on your board exams, the needle versus the tumor. Okay, let's break it down. It's actually super logical. If someone is injecting insulin from a vial, right, an external needle, their labs are going to show high insulin, sure, but their C-peptide is going to be low, totally suppressed. Why? Because the insulin in that bottle was made in a lab. It doesn't have a C-peptide attached. But if the body itself is the source, say a tumor is cranking out insulin, it has to make it from proinsulin, so you'll see high insulin and high C-peptide. It's that simple. Low C-peptide, it's the needle. High C-peptide, the problem is coming from inside the house. But just when you think you've got it all figured out, there's a plot twist. A secret level to this diagnostic game. There's a hidden mimic that can send you way off track if you're not paying attention. We call it the sulfonylurea shunt. And here's the trap. Listen close. A simple little pill can look exactly like a pancreatic tumor on lab tests. There's a whole class of diabetes drugs called sulfonylureas, and what they do is basically squeeze the pancreas and force it to secrete more of its own insulin. So what do you think the labs are going to show? You guessed it, high insulin, and because the body is making it, high C-peptide. The lab signature is identical to an insulinoma. It's the perfect mimic.
So, how do you not fall for this? You stick to the algorithm, period. The moment you get labs back that are high insulin, high C-peptide, your knee-jerk reaction cannot be to order a CT scan. Nope. Your very next step is to order an oral hypoglycemic screen. Check their blood or urine for the drug. If, and only if, that screen comes back negative, then you've earned the right to go hunting for a tumor with that CT scan. This simple step saves a ton of money and, more importantly, keeps you from making a huge diagnostic error.
Okay, let's lock this logic down for good. We're going to do a quick-fire drill to burn these pathways into your brain. You ready? Let's run the matrix. Scenario 1. Insulin is high, C-peptide is low. What's the source? Ping! Exogenous injection. Got it. Scenario 2. Insulin is high, C-peptide is high. What's on your differential? Ping! Could be an insulinoma, or it could be sulfonylurea use. So what's the next move for that high picture? The only next move? Ping! Order the oral hypoglycemic screen. And if that screen is negative, then it's game on for the CT scan. You've got your proof.
And just like that, logic sealed. You've officially cracked the hypoglycemia code. Mission accomplished. The hypoglycemia refinery is secure. But don't get comfortable. Our tour of the metabolic landscape is far from over. Your next mission briefing is already on the docket. We're moving on to the lipid matrix and the whole new battleground of obesity medicine. So, let's debrief. We've secured the hypoglycemia refinery. Mission objective complete. Your next assignment is Series E6.2. The target? The lipid and obesity logic module. Look, if you can't handle a hypertriglyceridemia storm or navigate the GLP-1 revolution, then you are simply not mission ready. I'll see you at the next rendezvous point.